Hi, my name is Sophie Goff. I'm a fourth year physiotherapy student and I will be responding to case scenario 1. So first of all, an ethical code is laid out in the physiotherapy profession to ensure that practitioners use their expertise and understanding to facilitate ethical, quality, and competent care to patients. This includes projecting values such as respect, integrity, honesty, openness, and promoting autonomy and well-being. In this scenario, the practitioner is using the patient in question to promote their business. This conflicts the idea of integrity and respect, as the patient-centered care is compromised by a conflict of interest to advertise the clinic. Secondary to this, respect and openness is compromised as the therapist publishes the photo of this patient without consulting the patient on the proposed use of the picture, thus failing to gain informed consent. This compromises the patient's privacy by publicizing that they are undergoing physiotherapy to the greater public. As well as the publication of the photo, the caption, "Even the stars come to me," could be seen as putting emphasis on the patient's media profile rather than focusing on them as an individual and a patient. This presents a conflict of interest and poses the question, is the practitioner using the patient as a means of gaining publicity? Legally, this scenario proposes an issue. As the image has identifiable information on who the patient is, it is classified as sensitive information. This means there are strict regulations surrounding its collection and use. Without appropriate informed consent verbally or in the form of documentation, the physiotherapist has violated the patient's right to privacy and confidentiality. By exposing that the patient is seeking healthcare, this could compromise the patient's relationships and job, leaving the physiotherapy liable to be sued. An example of this may be disrepute and/or defamation for the patient in question in the media or tabloids in relation to their health and well-being as acquired from the image. The Australian Health Practitioners Regulation Agency has codes by which practitioners are legally bound. Principle 8 is professional behaviour, which requires practitioners to display professional behaviour that instills trust in their patients and community. This includes acting ethically and honestly. This scenario does not adhere to this principle, as the therapist is posting the photo for personal gain and is not open or honest about the proposed use of the photo. In the Australian Physiotherapy Association Code of Conduct, there are several areas of the working with patients or clients section that are compromised. This includes effective communication surrounding the intended use of the photo. Secondly, confidentiality and privacy involves legal procedures when publishing patient information such as identity. This is not done in this scenario. Furthermore, informed consent is not obtained. This includes explaining the intended use and the patient agreeing to this. In a scenario such as this, a signed document should be obtained to protect the practitioner from this scenario occurring. Based on the above, I would remove the photo from social media and write a formal apology to the patient and the Australian Health Practitioner Regulation Agency, including my understanding of the violation I have made and my new understanding of how to avoid this in the future. To avoid this in the future, I simply would not share patient information, including disclosing patient identity on social media. This is primarily to protect patient confidentiality. In the case that I had to or was going to post a photo of a patient on social media, I would gain informed consent through a signed document outlining the proposed use of the image, and if the patient declined to having this image used for this purpose, then the image would not be used.